right, today is Monday the 13th. If you haven't already, please make sure that you put your name at the top of your paper, the packet. This is week 7. Today is the 13th. The assignments that are due this week, we have our warm-up. We have our homework. We have to make sure that week 6 quiz is completed. And we're going to have a week 7 quiz on Friday. Okay. And it's going to depend on how far we get. I don't want to say what I think, because I got to figure out where you are. Okay. How much you learned while I was absent. So I don't want to say which concepts we're going to put on there until I figure that out. All right. So our assignment today, we submitted. Submit week 6. We're going to do the warm-up for this week. I'm going to go over how to write linear equations. If I have time, then I'll show you how to write linear equations in the calculator. If not, then I'll push that to tomorrow. Our homework is the Monday's portion of the homework. And I need you to read over your notes. It's going to be super important that you read over your notes. Please make sure you read over your notes. This is all that we're going to have time for today. Okay. All right, let's turn over. Anyone still writing, please raise your hand. Okay, I'll pause for the calls. Okay, let's go over. Let's go over the warm-up. Go over the warm-up. Okay, we're going to do the second one. We'll mark out the first one. We don't have a whole lot of time, so we'll just do one of them. We're going to write an equation of a line where they give us the slope, and they tell us that that line passes through this point. Okay, I'm going to reiterate these steps in the notes that we take today, but we're going to put some steps here, writing linear equations. The first step is to find the slope. Does anybody remember what letter represents slope? M. Very good. Okay. Please write this down. This is part of your warm-up. Number 2, after you find the slope by using the slope formula, if the slope is not given to you, you have to use the slope formula. Remember, go back and look at your notes. There are 2 formulas for slope. M is equal to rise over run, or M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you only use the formula for slope if they don't give you slope. In many cases, they will give you slope. Number 2, you're going to find the y-intercept. Does anybody remember the letter for y-intercept?
B.
B. Very good. So you're going to find M, then you're going to find B. And then your last step is to substitute M and B into the slope-intercept form. So you're going to substitute M and B into slope-intercept form. And what's the slope-intercept form?
Y equals mx plus b.
Y equals mx plus b. Very good, babe. So these are going to be replaced with numbers, and then you have an equation. Okay. All right. So we're going to use these steps to write this equation. They gave me the slope. They told me that the slope is 3/4. So we're going to write m is equal to 3/4. So we don't have to find slope because slope is given. Please write that down. Any questions so far? Slope is already given, so we don't have to find it. Yes. I can't hear you. Speak up just a little louder. Sorry. Yes, you can, if you know how to. All right. So now we have to find B. So let's find B. Find the y-intercept, which is B. To find the y-intercept, you use y equals mx plus b. Use y equals mx plus b. And you substitute the values in for y, m, and x and solve for b. Okay? So here they give us a point. This point gives us an x value and a y value, x coordinate and a y coordinate. This is my x coordinate. This is my y coordinate. I'm going to take these values and plug them into the slope-intercept form and solve for b so I can figure out what b is. Look at this. Which one of these numbers is going to be y? -2. Bring down the equal sign. Then we have slope. Slope is 3/4. Times, this is multiplication here. Which one of these values is x? 2. So we're going to write it as a fraction. How do you write 2 as a fraction? 2/1. And then we have plus b. Okay. So all I did was substitute the information that they gave me so that I can find a value for b. Okay. So first things first, this is -2 on this side. Let's multiply straight across here. What's 3 times 2? 6 over what? Over, well, no. Multiply straight across. 4. Very good. Plus b. Now we got to get b by itself. So in order to get b by itself, we're going to move it to the other side. This is a positive 6/4. To move it, what do I use to move it to the other side? Subtraction. So I'm going to subtract both sides by 6/4. Okay. We didn't get our calculator, so I'm going to do this part for you, okay? We're going to subtract. Clear out my calculator. 2nd plus 712. I'm going to type in -2 minus, and the fraction is 6/4. I'm going to press enter, and I get a -3/5. So B is -3/5. I'm sorry, -3.5. This is my B, and this is my M. This is my B, and this is my M. So how do I write this as an equation? I'm going to take my M and my B. Look, substitute the M and the B into the slope-intercept form. So how do I write this? This is M, this is B. How do I write the equation for that? Yes.
Y equals 3/4 x minus 3.5.
Very good. This is your answer because this is the equation. Make sure you know this is a 0.5. Okay. Let's pause for the calls. You said right. You would be after Jocelyn. Okay. All right. Let's take out our interactive notebook. The last page that you should have is page 15. That's the last page that we did, and that was on graphing equations. We also paste this half slip at the bottom. You should have this worksheet. We graph these equations, and we paste it at the bottom. If you did not do that, please go ahead and find that sheet. It should be in your folder and paste it at the bottom of page 15. I am going to pause to give you a chance to find that. We want to make sure that we have page 15. That was the last page that we completed. Page 15 is graphing linear equations. We wrote some steps on how to graph linear equations, and then we did a half sheet on graphing linear equations. Okay? We're going to move on to page 16. That's it. Yeah. We're going to move on to page 16, and this is going to be writing linear equations. I know you did this last week, but I want to make sure you fully understand it. Miss Savadra said some of y'all had a blank look. Y'all didn't really understand what was going on. So we're going to go over it. Go over it again just to make sure. Okay? This is page 16. This is going to be super simple because we just wrote steps, but we need to do some examples. Okay? So this is Q2 because it's quarter 2. And this is going to be page 16. And page 16 is going to be writing linear equations. And I'm going to pause for the calls, y'all. You need paper? DJ, you need paper? All right, so writing a linear equation. Do not forget a linear equation are equations that graph straight lines. All of these equations graph straight lines. So this is something to remember. Put a star. Linear equations. Linear equations. The smaller word in linear is line. Linear equations graph straight lines, okay? Most linear equations are written in the slope-intercept form, okay? Most are written in two T's, sorry y'all, in slope-intercept form. Miss Reyes, what the world is slope-intercept form? I'm glad you asked me. That's such a good question, y'all. Y equals mx plus b.
And I've been encouraging them every time we use this to write it out at the beginning of the problem because it helps with memorizing.
Yes, Jesus.
We're not going to have that when it comes to the EOGs at the end of the year.
That is exactly right.
Any formula you're using to solve a problem, you need to go ahead and write out the formula. Even though you don't think you need to, it helps. It helps to remember it.
It does. I mean, don't overuse your brain. You know what I mean? It gets tired. It gets tired sometimes. So this is M. This is your slope. This is your Y-intercept. This is slope. This is Y-intercept. Okay? This is your slope. This is how steep the line is. This is your Y-intercept. This is where your line is crossing the Y-axis. Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So again, your slope, the letter for slope again is what? M. Come on, y'all now. Come on. It's M. And remember, the definition for slope is the steepness of a line. Huh? The steepness of a line. Remember that? Okay. Remember, there's two formulas to find slope, right? What are the formulas for finding slope? M is equal to what? What's one of them? Anybody remember? No. Someone keep wanting to say Y for some reason. Rise over run. And what's the other formula for finding slope? This one is using the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is how you find slope. This is the formulas. These are the formulas. Okay? Remember, there are 4 kinds of slope. 4 kinds of slope. Does anybody remember? I'm gonna draw a little coordinate planes, okay? And then I'll pause for the calls because some of you, I'm going to pause for the calls real quickly. What's the different kinds you think? Okay, we got, which one is this one? What kind of slope is this? Anybody remember? Say it again. No. Yes. It is. All of these are going to be linear because that's all we're talking about is straight lines. Positive. Thank you, Jesus. This is positive slope. As x increases, y is going to increase. Okay? This is positive slope. What kind of slope is this? This is negative slope. We've done this before, and this is in your notes. And then what kind of slope is a flat line? Zero slope. This is zero slope. Okay? And then what kind of slope is a line that just goes straight up and down? Undefined slope. These are the 4 kinds of slopes. Okay? And again, I'm going to pause for the calls. Yes. I'm going to put a star beside slope because you know that's super important also, right? Okay? The other thing, we talked about this right here. M is the slope. Now we need to talk about the Y-intercept. B. Okay, so Y-intercept. Yeah, we will. The definition for Y-intercept is going to be where the line crosses the Y-axis, okay? Where the line crosses the Y-axis, okay? This number right here is where the line crosses the Y-axis, okay? And it's also the starting amount. I'm going to put a semicolon because it is also the starting amount. It is also the starting amount. It is also the starting amount. Okay? It is also the starting amount. I'm going to pause for the calls. I'm going to draw a little coordinate plane. This is my x-axis here. We're not talking about the x-axis. We're talking about where it crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis right here. Okay, we're talking about where it crosses this y-axis. So if the B is 7, that means it crosses at positive 7 up here. If your B is a negative 2, that means it crosses right here at negative 2. If this B is 4, that means it crosses at positive 4 here. Okay, so on and so forth. So B is where the line crosses the y-axis. It is also considered to be the starting amount. Yes. All right, so now these are the steps to writing a linear equation. So these are your steps on how to write linear equations. I'm going to keep it simple, okay? And remember, there are only 3, and we wrote it in the warm-up, okay? I'm going to pause for the calls. All right? So we got 3 steps. 3 steps. The first step, does anybody remember what that first step was? Does anybody remember? Yes. Find the slope. Find the slope. What letter do we use for slope? M. There are 2 formulas for slope. If they don't give you slope, what are the 2 formulas that you can use? We wrote those formulas down. What's one of them? Yes. Rise over run is one of the formulas you can use if they don't give you slope. What's the second formula you can use if they don't give you slope? Yes. Y2, Y1, X2. Yes, Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Remember I told you tonight, please read over your notes, okay? All right, what's the second step to writing a linear equation? What was the second thing? Yes. Find the y-intercept. Very good, babe. Find the y-intercept. Okay. What's the letter for y-intercept? You got a question?
I got a question.
Yes, go ahead, baby.
What's that word right there? No,
Slope.
No, up.
Equations.
No, up, hold up thing.
How?
No. Up. It's the fourth one on the end. It's like find slope. Who? Undefined slope. Oh, appreciate it.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know if that was a V or a U.
Oh, okay. U. It's a U. All right. What's the letter for y-intercept? B. Okay. B. And then what's the last step? And remember, I should have said this. Remember, to find the y-intercept, if they don't give it to you, you use your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay? You use that to find it. You're going to solve for b. Okay? All right. Number 3, what's the last step? After you find m and then you find b, what do you do with m and b to write the equation? Yes. Very good. Substitute the m, which is the slope, and this is an and symbol, b, into y equals mx plus b, which is called the what? What's y equals mx plus b called? Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Okay, and I'm going to pause for the calls, give you a chance to write, okay? All right, let's do some examples. This we are going to say, we're going to make this 17 because this is a lot. All right, so we got Q2. This is page 17. Writing linear equation. Let's do examples. Let's just say examples of writing linear equations. All right, and I'll pause, give you a chance to write. Okay, so let's do this one. Let's do first example. Example number 1. We're going to write the linear equation when we're given, this is important, you're given m and b. You're given the slope. This is the easy one, y'all. And y-intercept. And again, what letter did we say slope was? What's the letter for slope? M. And what's the letter for y-intercept? B. Okay. So let's do some examples of that. We're writing equations. So let's do example A. Okay. Let's suppose that they tell you that the slope is a -7. And then they tell you that the slope is a +10. They want you to write a linear equation when you're given both of these values. So this is simple. All you're doing is substituting these numbers into the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we write y equals mx plus b, and we're going to replace m with what number? Come on, y'all. -7. So we got y is equal to -7x. What else? Plus 10, because it's +10. This is my answer. This is easy. All you're doing is plugging in the m and the b, because they give you both. You don't have to find them. They give them to you. Any questions about that? All right, let's do b. Let's suppose that this time m is 1/2 and b is a -2. How do I write this as a linear equation? Anybody? How do you write this as a linear equation? Anybody? Yes. Y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Great job. Okay. Do you see how she just substitute m in the place of m and b in the place of m? Since it's a b. Since it's a minus -2, it's going to be -2. Any questions?
Because this is kind of the same information from page 16, these are different examples. So she did some examples on the last page, but a lot of you are going, I copied down the examples on page 17. I don't need any more examples. We check for every page. This is a part of what we check when we grade these.
Yeah, I didn't do any examples on the 16th page. I just told you how to do it. Yes, baby. What's wrong? Oh, she's... All right. Let's look at this one. C. We got m is equal to, let's say this is 0.7. Sorry. And then B, yes, baby. And then B is, let's say this is 1.2. How do I write this as an equation? Anybody? How do I write this as an equation? Somebody different. He's already given me an answer. Yes.
Y equals 0.7x plus 1.2.
Very good. Okay. Any questions about how to write the equation if they give you the slope and they give you the y-intercept? Poor Jocelyn. Sit up, baby cheeks. Tap her, please. Tap her. You got it? At least you actually tapped her. Thank you. Because, you know, you a little rough around the edges. Yep, you abuse people. All right, example number 2.
Stoney went to court. He just be telling the answer.
Yeah, he's definitely abusive. I know, baby. I'm sorry. We're going to get y'all in some therapy. All right, here we go. Write the linear equation, okay? Given, this time you're going to be given the slope. So you're still given the slope, but they're not going to give you the y-intercept this time. They're just going to give you a point that's on the line. So given the slope and a point on the line, okay? So you're missing the y-intercept. The y-intercept is missing in these examples. All right, so before it was simple. All you had to do was substitute. Here, you're going to have to do a little bit of work, okay? You're going to be all right. All right, so let's do the first one, okay? Let's suppose that they give you a slope of 2. We'll make it simple. And the point, they tell you that it passes through the point. And let's make this simple also. Let's do -1. And let's do 3, okay? We got to write this as an equation. I'm going to pause to give some of you a chance to write. Some of you are still writing. All right, so they give you a slope and they give you a point and they tell you to write the equation. Watch what Ms. Reyes does. M is given, but B is not. So you've got to find B. Okay? In order to find B, remember we wrote this in our notes. We wrote y equals mx plus b. Okay? We're going to take the information that's given, substitute it into the slope-intercept form, and solve for b. Okay? Write this down. Come on, Jane. All right, so this is, look, this is an x coordinate. This is a y coordinate. The first number is your x coordinate. The second number is your y coordinate. DJ, you okay, babe? You okay? You got it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to substitute these numbers into this form. So what number are we going to replace y with?
3.
3. So put 3 here. It's equal to, what number are we going to replace m with? 2. This is multiplication here. So we got 2 times whatever x is. What is x here? -1. And we're solving for b. So we're going to say plus b. Thank you, Ms. Moore. All right, so here we're going to multiply this together. So bring this down. What's 2 times -1? -2. We got -2. Then we have plus b, okay? So now what do we do in order to get b by itself? How do we get rid of a -2? Okay, very good. Add 2 or plus 2 to both sides. Same thing, right? Okay. On this side, what's 3 plus 2?
5.
This is 5. Here, this is 0. This is gone. And we're left with what? B. So now B is equal to 5. So we got M, that was given, and now we found B. So what's the last step? He gave me the answer last time. Can somebody give me the answer? Y is equal to what? 2 what? 2x what? Plus 5. All right, very good. I'm going to put this video online, and I'll send it to you and remind as well. Please go back and read over your notes and do your homework, okay? All right, y'all.